All right, so up at the top, I still had one more example to go through for writing an expression, write an algebraic expression. As soon as we read algebraic expression here, you should have known that we were going to have variables and maybe some numbers, but we were going to have at least one operation. So the operation is not actually spelled out here. Nowhere in this problem does it say sum, and nor does it say add or increase, but it does say that it wants the total cost of the tickets. So here you have to kind of imply the addition because you know you've got two different kinds of tickets, and in order to figure out the total cost, you have to find out what the cost was for each set of tickets and then add the two costs together. So again, this was not a word that was spelled out. It was one that was implied from the context of the situation. So I just literally replaced the word two right here with the number two, the symbol that we use to represent that word. And I used the letter A to represent adult. The and told me where to put my plus sign. I used this symbol right here, which represents the word three. And then I used the letter S. Be careful with using the letter S. Some people might mistake it for a 5. I would never choose to use S, but I figured some of you might, so I went ahead and used S anyway. But the expression is here. It is just 2A plus 3S. That represents the total cost of the tickets. Okay, then for order of operations, we use GEMDAS. This might be the only thing that's new right here, is the fact that I use a G instead of a P. Most of you use PEMDAS, but GEMDAS works better because it stands for grouping symbols, and it says right here that grouping symbols can be parentheses, but it can also be brackets, it can also be a fraction bar, and it could be something like also a square root symbol. You might have a problem with the square root symbol. Everything else is the same. We've got exponents next, we've got multiply and divide in the order that they appear from left to right. So that means that you could technically divide before you multiply. And then same with addition and subtraction. If subtraction appears in the problem before the addition, then you actually are going to subtract before you add. Okay, and then I'm going to run through here and do these examples real quick. This is 2 times itself 4 times. So 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16. And 7 raised to the third power means 7 times 7, which is 49. And then 49 times 7, which is, I'm using my calculator, is 343. You will not have a calculator. Oh my goodness, hold on. Accidentally pressed the button. So there's 343 is 7 times 7. 7 times 7 is 49. 49 times 7 is 343. So down here, we don't have any grouping symbols. Down here, on part A, we don't have any grouping symbols. So I'm going to start with exponents. So the rest of this just stays the same. 20 minus 7, I believe that's divided by 64 minus 7 times 11. I really don't know if that's divided by or plus. Can't tell. Let's go with plus. I think it does look like a plus sign. Okay, so now we're going to do multiplication and division in the order that it appears. So subtraction, addition, subtraction, multiplication. So I've got to multiply 7 times 11. So that means 20 minus 7 plus 64 minus 77. Okay, in the order that it appears from left to right. So I'm going to subtract these two first. So 20 minus 7 becomes what, 13? Okay. And now I have 13 plus 64. I believe 13 plus 64 is 77. And then 77 minus 0. 77 minus 77 is 0. Okay, on this one, I'm going to have to do inside the grouping symbol first. So 3 minus 2 is 1. And then I have that squared plus 6. So 15 minus, I got to square the 1. So 10 plus 1. 10 squared, I'm sorry, 1 squared is 1. So this is now 10 plus 1. Okay, I still have to do inside the grouping symbols. So I get 15 minus 11 plus 6. 15 minus 11, the minus has to be done first, I believe is 4. 4 plus 6 gives me 10. And then the division sign is the grouping symbol. So I'm going to work the top and then I'm going to work the bottom. I'm going to work the top, then I'm going to work the bottom. And when I'm finished, I should have one number on top, one number on bottom. And then the last thing I'm going to do is divide. So this is going to be 2 times 5 is 10. And then 10 squared plus 4. 3 squared minus 5. That becomes 100 plus 4. And that becomes 9 minus 5. That becomes 104 divided by 4. And 4 will go into 104. 26 times. So the final answer there is 26. Okay, this next set down here is exactly like the set that we did up here. The only difference is it first comes to us with variables, but they give us the value of the variables. So I'm simply rewriting this. I'm rewriting this expression, and instead of the letter A, I put parentheses. Why? Because I'm going to fill in the value of A. I'm going to substitute the 10 in for the A, and I need a place to put it, so that's why I put the parentheses. So if you'll notice that everywhere there was a variable, I put a set of parentheses so I could fill in those numbers. And then I just follow the order of operations. So I'm going to have, we have a grouping symbol first. So I'm going to do what's inside the grouping symbol. Inside the grouping symbol, there is multiplication. So 3 times 6 is 18 plus 5. And that's going to be divided by 6. And it's also going to be multiplied by 2 squared. Okay, so I'm still going to do 2 squared times 18 plus 5, I believe is 23, divided by 6. The next thing I have to do is 2 squared, which is 4, and then that's times 23, and then I'm going to divide that by 6. So I've got to multiply 4 times 23, and that gives me 92 divided by 6. And 92 divided by 6 does not come out to be a nice number, so I'm going to leave it as a mixed fraction, 15 1/3. This one here, I have grouping symbol. So inside my grouping symbol, I'm going to work with this one. There's nothing inside that. That's a parentheses that just tells me to multiply. So I'm going to work inside this grouping symbol here. I've got multiplication to do first. So 6 times 3 is 18. 18 minus 12 will be the part that I do next. And 18 minus 12 is going to be, what is that? Take away 12. Is that 6, I believe? And then over here, I can multiply and do 20. So that's going to go together and give me 26. Now this last one right here says that we've got a taxi cab that charges this much money per. Do you see the per? That means multiply. I've got to multiply $1.75 per passenger. So how about we use a P for passenger? Per passenger. And then plus, so we're going to put a plus sign. $3.45 per. So $3.45 for each mile. So I'm going to use M for mile. And they're saying that this is the cost only if the trip is less than 10 miles. Okay. So we've got to keep that in mind when we continue to reading. Write and evaluate the expression to find the total cost for max. That's how many passengers we have. And it's going to go 8 miles. So 8 miles is less than 10. So we are going to be able to use this formula. We have one person, just max, and we're going to go 8 miles. Okay, so we are going to be able to use this formula, and we're just going to do 175 times 1 plus $3.45 times 8 to get Max's total cost. So $3.45 times 8 plus, and I don't know why I did that backwards. I didn't have to. I could have said 175 times 1 first. But came out to be $29.35. So that's how much Max had to pay for the taxi.